Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Capital Area School Development Association Virtual College Fair. And thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Both your camera and microphone are off, so that means that our presenters cannot see nor hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions. And this presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at stripescan.com/CASDANY. And with that being said, I'd like to turn it over to our first presenter. So if our representative from Sacred Heart University could join us, please.
Absolutely, thank you for that. I'm just gonna pop up my screen quickly for everybody to see. We'll get started. So good evening, everybody. My name is Trevor O'Brien. I'm one of the admissions counselors here at Sacred Heart University. And I just have a quick presentation that's going to go through some fast facts about Sacred Heart, and then we'll be touching on the application process as well as some extracurricular activities. So we're going to start with just some fast facts about Sacred Heart. So we were founded in 1963 by the Diocese of Bridgeport, Connecticut. We were the first Catholic college in the United States to be staffed by lay people, which is where we got the name the Pioneers. Our undergraduate enrollment's about 5,600 students, and total university enrollment's about 8,000 when you include graduate students. So I always like to describe Sacred Heart as being a happy medium, right? It's not too small where you'd be seeing the same people every day, but it's not too large at the same time where you're feeling overwhelmed or lost. The average class size is just 22, and the student-to-teacher ratio is 13:1, which really allows you to get that nice attention with our professors. In terms of the academic overview, we have 6 different colleges of study here. You guys would be placed in one of the first 5 colleges that are listed. St. Vincent's College is more for graduate and transfer students. And so overall, we have 80 different majors and concentrations that are available, as well as an undecided option as well if you don't necessarily know what you want to study. And we have over 40 different master's and doctoral programs, several of which you can actually do an accelerated option, completing your graduate degree in a year earlier, which is nice. And again, just reemphasizing that individualized attention in the classroom, which is so important, being able to meet with your professors as soon as possible. Now just go through some academic opportunities, first of which is our Thomas More Honors Program. So every student that's accepted to Sacred Heart is automatically considered for this program, and we have specific requirements that we look for, and if you meet those requirements, then you can be invited. Additionally, studying abroad is something that's very important at Sacred Heart, and we actually have 2 different campuses. We have one in Dingle, Ireland, which is the bottom picture that you guys see, as well as one in Luxembourg, but we have over 60 different programs in 30 different countries. And what's nice about Sacred Heart is that it's open to all majors. So even if you were a health profession or a nursing student, you could study for up to a full semester if you'd like, but there's also 2-week courses and summer courses that are available. And also the Career Center is something that's really important, especially being able to find an internship your junior or senior year, but we encourage students to utilize it starting, your freshman year, first day. And the placement rate is something that's very important to us too, whether it is in a grad school or a full-time employment. Being able to have that quick turnaround is very, very important to Sacred Heart. We've gotten that within the first year of graduation, which is nice to see. Then transition quickly to getting involved on campus. Academics do come first, but we want you guys to enjoy your college experience and getting involved. And Sacred Heart, we have a lot of different options. We have over 60 different clubs and organizations, and those range from academic clubs, student government, fraternity and sorority life, media clubs. We are a Division I school, so we have over 30 different Division I sport programs, but we also have over 30 different club sport and intramural opportunities. And performing arts is something that's also really big for us here. So if you're interested in band, choral, dance, theater, arts at all, you can actually set up an audition with our performing arts department. And if you do well in that audition, you can actually receive an additional grant coming to Sacred Heart, which is nice. Also, campus ministry, volunteer programs, and our multicultural organizations, they work very synonymously with each other, and they actually share the same office space. And they do a lot of things in the local community, but also nationally and internationally in terms of community service aspects. So if that's something that you do right now and you want to continue, or if you don't necessarily do it and want to, once you come to college, Sacred Heart is definitely a great place to be able to do that. Then just quickly going through residential life. So we do have 4 years of housing that is available, and there's actually a 2-year residency requirement, meaning that you're required to live in Sacred Heart housing your first 2 years after sophomore year. If you wanted to move off campus, you're welcome to do so. But if you wanted to live in housing for all 4 years, you have that option as well. And there's also virtual tours of all of our residential halls online on our website. So I definitely encourage you guys to check those out if you are interested. And then just quickly running through some of the growth of Sacred Heart that's been being built the past 4 or 5 years. Again, just trying to reinvest in you guys as students is important to us. And so I wanted to run through some of the things that we have done. First off is our Center for Healthcare Education building. So this was built a few years ago, and this houses our College of Health Professions and our College of Nursing. And it was designed after modern day hospitals and clinics. So it really gives you that great clinical experience while you're taking your classes to help get that real world experience, which is very important. We also have our West Campus property, which houses our College of Business and Technology, as well as our College of Education. And, we've been doing a lot of renovations on that the past few years to, again, give you guys state-of-the-art academic spaces to really integrate and work with each other. Then we also have our Bobby Valentine Health and Recreation Center. So this was built just this past year, and it's a really great space to be able to kind of work out after class, utilizing our multi-purpose sport courts, our fitness equipment. There's also a 6-lane bowling alley. There's a rock climbing wall. There is a smoothie bar that's located in there as well. So again, outside of the classroom, enjoying yourself, being able to utilize that is wonderful. And then we also have JP's Diner, which is definitely a favorite spot for students on campus, honestly, as well as our admissions office. And it's a late night option, and it's kind of got your typical diner fare, so your all-day breakfast, your signature sandwiches and milkshakes, and again, a great spot for students to kind of hang out and grab a bite to eat after they get out of class. And then just to wrap up quickly, I wanted to talk through the application process. And so we have 3 main deadlines that we have at Sacred Heart. The first is early decision. So that's a binding agreement. That's if Sacred Heart, is your #1 choice. This is the place that you want to go. You could go the early decision route. The deadline to do so is December 1st, and you guys would be getting notified by December 15th. The majority of students fall into the early action 1 category. That's non-binding. The deadline to apply there is December 15th. And that's also the deadline for the College of Nursing. So if you want to apply nursing, you must do so by December 15th. Students be getting notified by the end of January. And then also early action 2, which is also non-binding. That deadline is February 1st. Your notification date would be kind of in the middle of February. And then after that, all students are reviewed on a rolling basis. That is all I have. So I'm going to pass it along to our next presenter.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Trevor, for talking to us a little bit more about what Sacred Heart University has to offer. Our next up is going to be from Castleton University. And before we get started, I just want to remind everyone to use the Q&A feature. So if you have any questions for our panelists, go ahead and plug them in and they'll get back to you. And with that, I'll let Joe take over.
Okay, hopefully everyone can see my screen just fine. My name is Joe Zeitler. I'm a Castleton alum. I'm also the Assistant Director of Admissions. I review all New York files on that front. So we're going to talk about Castleton University. First and foremost is our location. So we are literally located in the heart of the Green Mountains. We're only 5 minutes away from the New York border and 15 minutes away from Rutland, Vermont, which would be the 3rd largest city out of all Vermont, and only 4 miles away from Lake Bomazene. Lake Bomazene would be the largest lake within the state of Vermont on that front. We're the 18th oldest university in the United States and Vermont's first higher ed institution. So we've got a rich history in that regard. Over 75 different programs to choose from. So chances are we have your academic program of interest, and we highly suggest complementing that major with a minor. Select graduate programs to choose from. And obviously when it comes to size, overall size is about 2,000 students. And we have an average class size of 17 to 20 students. And that's one of the main reasons why I chose Castleton and several pre-professional tracks. In regards to making a difference, we're definitely going to make a difference for you. So internships are huge. Our research opportunities are saturated at the undergraduate level. So that's a big thing to boast about if you are interested in science programs. Several study away / abroad opportunities, but obviously with COVID-19, it's definitely thrown a huge wrench into that, but we do offer an extensive list on that front too. And as our previous presenter noted, clubs, organizations, no matter where you decide to go off to college, get involved. We've got over 50 clubs, organizations here at Castleton University, several performing theater arts performances. An interesting fact about Castleton is all students get a free season ski pass up to Killington, and that includes equipment rental and literally lessons. So if you've never tried skiing or snowboarding, feel free to hit us up and you get a free season ski pass. We're also a residential campus, so majority of our students do reside on our campus. In regards to being a first-year student, one thing to boast about is if you do have a car, feel free to bring it. All first-year students can have a car here at Castleton. And our nice thing is that we don't segregate first-year students when it comes to residence halls. So each of our residence halls has a 60-40 ratio, 60% upperclassmen, 40% first-year students. You get to choose whatever style residence hall you want to live in, and it's the same price across the board. Parents really appreciate that, and you can stay on campus all 4 years. If you're interested in playing sports, one thing that's monumental due to our size is that we offer over 28 varsity sports programs. So if you're not interested in being a varsity athlete, we have several club sports and intramurals and over 180 sporting events. To quickly do a flyby in regards to the application process, we are a common application school, so that's why we want you to apply. Obviously, we'll need your high school transcript. SAT, ACT scores are waived the next couple of years, so we just have extended that to 2022. An essay, so be creative on that essay topic, and then a letter of recommendation, and then this kind of paints a picture of that average student that comes to Castleton. 81% receive financial aid, which consists of loans, grants, scholarships from $1,000 all the way up to full tuition. And then this is our contact page on that front too. We do want to encourage you to obviously connect with us. So we have numerous virtual open house events. We've just opened up our campus to out-of-state families. So we just want to encourage you to go to our website, see what guidelines you'll need to meet for that. And then lastly, what I want to do is I want to just show you a quick little video that will kind of tease you a little bit.
My family. I think there's something really powerful about how long Castleton's been around as a university.
We're the 18th oldest college in the country, oldest college in Vermont. One might think that we would take a conservative approach. We've seen a huge improvement in our facilities for athletics. We can't just rest on our laurels. You look around campus, you see labs being renovated and built. We've had $1 million plus in science lab renovation. We had a $500,000 renovation in our theater department.
This is an incredible facility. You're again in a small town in rural Vermont, and we have one of the nicest theater facilities in the whole state.
I think we've done a really good job of sinking our roots into a bunch of different places, getting involved in Killington.
Our resort and hospitality management program, they're living and learning right on the mountain.
Getting involved in Bennington.
Those programs represent an opportunity to expand our nursing program to serve more Vermonters.
Our students are those people, are those scientists, are those doctors in the field,
and they're changing the world. We compete really well academically. Our students represent us well, they represent themselves well. Students who care about their academics and their achievements and their GPA.
Okay, so that was just a little teaser piece. Once again, I'm the counselor that reviews all New York files, and I want to encourage you to check out our website for our campus virtual tour on that front.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joe, for talking to us about Castleton University. Next up, we have Champlain College.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I actually went to the wrong one for a second there. There we go. Much better. My name is Hannah Kingsley, and I am one of the admissions counselors here at Champlain College. Thank you so much for joining us today. To think about Champlain and just go ahead and get started. First of all, we are located right in Burlington, Vermont. So we are in the historic Hill District, and we can see Burlington right from our campus. We are right there, and Lake Champlain. I also want to mention a little bit about the size of our school. So we have about 2,100 students on campus, and average class size is about 16 to 17. With that being said, we do have students coming from across the country and internationally as well. And on the screen right now, you can see where we are located in relation to a lot of the bigger cities within New England. However, at the same time, we are really nicely located between Montreal, Albany, and Boston. So we have a lot of great different music venues and artists that come through Burlington. So definitely something to keep in mind. It would not be a Champlain College presentation without talking about our upside down curriculum, because this is extremely unique to our school. And what this means is every single student starts in their major from day one on campus. So if you know exactly what you want to study, perfect hands-on experience all 4 years. You're in that major right away, building the skill set that you need in order to be successful and potentially get internships earlier on. And you're also confirming that this is the right program for you. However, maybe you come to Champlain and you think you know exactly what you want to study, but once you're in the classroom, you realize it's not quite the right fit for you. This means you can still change your major and graduate within 4 years. We also know that you may not know what you want to study yet, and that is completely okay as well. You can come to Champlain as an undeclared student and then take a sample of classes. And while we're talking about majors, I do want to show a couple of our specialty programs. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time to go into all of them, but we do have 4 different schools and divisions at Champlain College, and you can find our entire curriculum on the Champlain website, which I highly encourage you to check out. A few of the programs I do want to make sure to highlight is first and foremost our game studio. So we actually have 5 different game majors here at Champlain College, including game art, game design, game production management, game programming, and a brand new program this upcoming fall called game sound design. We also have a great cybersecurity program, digital forensics, law, social work, international business, and education at all levels, elementary, middle, and secondary. So again, check out our website to learn a little bit more, because we also have a range of minors and areas of concentrations that students can take part in. And we are a professionally focused institution. So what this means is we want to help students find and follow their passions, but also get a job doing so. For the class of 2019, right about 90% of our students had at least one, if not more, internship experiences. And that could be in Burlington, across the country, or even internationally. And part of the reason for that is because we do have 2 international campuses that our students are able to study abroad at. One in Dublin, Ireland, and the other one is in Montreal, Canada. And this pairs in addition to all of our partnership programs that are across the globe. And all of this really comes together when we think about what happens after graduation. We know that you are looking for a school that is going to pay off, and we want to let you know what happens after graduation. So for the class of 2019, 88% of our students were employed or continuing their education within 6 months of graduation. But the number that we are extremely proud of is out of the students who were employed, 100% of them were employed in a field directly related to their major and their career goals. So they didn't just have a job, but they had a job specifically in the industry that they went to Champlain for. And while we're thinking about degrees paying off, thinking about the application process and financial aid as well. So first of all, we are part of the Common App. We also have the Champlain application, and there is no application fee, and we are test optional. So you don't have to worry about paying to apply or sending any test scores our way. You're going to automatically be considered for merit-based aid when you apply. However, to be considered for need-based aid, we would just need that FAFSA information filled out. We do have the Champlain College Count On It guarantee. And what this means is any Champlain specific scholarships or grants that you receive will remain with you all 4 years, as long as you remain a full-time student. And this is based on your is not based on your GPA, and it is awarded for both need and merit-based aid. We also accept all outside scholarships as well, which is a great way to engage with your local community, your high school, and things along those lines. And I am going to just mention a few last minute things as well. But first, if you have any additional questions, we are going to be in the chat. But also feel free to take a screenshot of this slide, because that is a great way to connect with your admissions counselor and check out any of our upcoming events. We have a range of open houses coming up, virtual tours, information sessions, and lots of ways to connect with current Champlain students and your admissions counselor as well. So with that, I am going to wrap up and pass it off to the next school, but thanks again so much for joining.
Thanks a lot, Hannah, for talking to us a little bit about what Champlain has to offer. Next up, we have Vermont Technical College.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me. So hi, I'm Savannah Simons. I'm from Vermont Technical College. I'm Assistant Director of Admissions here. Hold on, there we go. Awesome. Can you see that and everything? Great. All right. So Vermont Tech is the small college with big outcomes. We are also, like Champlain and Castleton, are located in Vermont. We have 2 main locations. Burlington, we have one in Williston, Vermont, which is right next to Burlington. We also, our main campus is in Randolph Center, Vermont. That's our original campus. That one's rural. It sits on about 500 acres. It's the one that's behind me in this gorgeous picture of fall, actually, right now. There's a dining hall and sports grill on that campus, as well as our very own ski hill with a rope tow, fabricate your own ski lab. And this is where also our varsity athletics are held. The Williston campus is a bit more urban, close to Lake Champlain. It's more of a tight-knit campus. I would say there's about 500 students on there, and a good portion of them are commuter students, although we do have a residential hall on that campus as well. So we really are a small college. Total enrollment's about 1,600. I said there was about 500 on the Williston campus. We're about 800 to 1,000 on the main campus. And then we do have some other nursing students specifically at some remote locations in Vermont. Our average class size is 15 and our student teacher ratio is 15:1. And our hands-on programs are 45, which is all of them. It's all of them. So we do the big outcomes. 100% of our programs are career focused and hands-on. You will be getting that hands-on experience as soon as you start. So particularly for our pilot technology program, you're flying within your first semester. With our nursing program, you're in a nursing home helping out with the residents there within your first semester. Overall, we have a 99% placement rate into jobs in higher education, and of the folks that are employed, we do have about 99% of them are employed in a field related to their major. We also got rated highest on return on investment in this state, which means that not only is our tuition fairly low, but then the earning potential when you get out of college is also very high, which is wonderful. I'm not going to list the employers that we have. There's a list of them down there. You'll see them both local to Vermont and then national and some international. You can visit that website link at the bottom to learn more about our graduates. We are also split up into 4 schools. The first is School of Engineering and Computing. This is where I'd like to say the big money is. These are some very high paying careers. Anything with an AE or an AAS is a 2-year associates. We also have bachelor's, it's mostly bachelor's degrees. And then we do have a master's degree in software engineering. And our School of Nursing and Health Professions with dental hygiene, nursing, radiologic science. Respiratory therapy is also jumping, unfortunately due to COVID. But that's becoming an ever popular major nowadays. We have the School of Professional Studies and Management. This is where our business degrees are: professional pilot technology, automotive, diesel, entrepreneurship. And of course, you can't talk about Vermont without talking about agriculture. We do have agribusiness management for the management side of a farm or a large agricultural business. Diversified agriculture, landscape contracting is also really great if you're looking to be a greenhouse manager or work with that sort of field. All right, we do varsity. We have men's and women's soccer team, men's and women's basketball, cross country, track and field. Esports is coming soon as well. That was being developed before COVID hit, and I can't imagine that it didn't explode when COVID hit and everyone was, forced to stay home. Unfortunately, we had an Apex Legend tournament a year, oh gosh, I guess 2 years ago now. We are affiliated with the Yankee Small College Conference and the United States Collegiate Athletic Association. For the application information, we are on the Common App. You can use the Vermont Tech app, whichever you prefer. We have gone test optional for this year for most majors. The healthcare majors, we may still require a test. The essay is also optional this year. So pretty much all you need to do is fill out the actual physical application and then submit your high school transcripts. And then we will definitely want to review you. You can visit vtc.edu/apply because some majors have different requirements, specifically like dental hygiene or nursing. Okay, yeah, and you can follow us on social media, and we are also doing in-person visits as well. So, of course, and you can, my contact information is at the bottom there. All right, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Savannah, for talking to us a little bit about what Vermont Technological College has to offer. And our last school to go up is going to be Western Colorado University.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. My name is Alejandro. Let me share my screen and then we'll get started. Like I mentioned, my name is Alejandro. Yes, that's a little difference. No, I do not have 2 first names or last names. I do go by Alex, though. I'm a regional director of recruitment for Western Colorado University. Western Colorado University is a 4-year public liberal arts institution that's located at the hearts of the Rocky Mountain in Gunnison, Colorado. Just to give you a little bit more perspective of where we're located. We're located in the southwest corner of Colorado. So we're 4 hours away from Denver. We are in a very neat location. If you're big in ski and snowboarding, we're in between 2 famous ski resorts. Crescent View is 30 minutes north of town. You can ski and snowboard. You can also mountain bike, hike, fly fish, and the colors in the fall are blissful. We also have Monarch Mountain, which is 45 minutes east of town. Harmon's is 5 miles south of town. It is the largest outdoor recreational area in Colorado. It's over 8,000 acres. And that's where your outdoor activities most likely take place. So mountain biking, hiking, rock climbing, we have over 150 camping sites. It's definitely a popular spot for a lot of the students out western. And then we also have Blue Mesa, which Blue Mesa is about 10 miles west of town. It is the largest body of water in Colorado. It's over 20 miles long, and students, that's where your water activities will most likely take place. So boating, paddleboarding, fishing, ice fishing, a lot of things to do out there. Like I said, anyway, it's your Colorado adventure. Now, Western Colorado University, like I mentioned, is a 4-year public liberal arts institution. We offer over 100 areas of studies. Average class size is 17. 84% of the classes are taught by full-time faculty, and 71% of the faculty at Western have terminal degrees. So, I mean, you definitely get that personal education with those professors, and those professors are fully dedicated to your education. Yes, they're still doing research on the side, but they're fully fully dedicated to your education. You can visit with them during their office hours. If not, like I said, you'll probably build a relationship with where you probably end up having coffee or dinners with one of them. We're surrounded by 1.7 million acres of public land. So anything with outdoors, I would say that's our bread and butter. So not just that, but also with business, biology, recreation, outdoor education, environmental sustainability. We also just recently added a computer science engineering school. Something that we added, we received a very generous donation of $80 million to build that school. So it's currently done, and there's currently students taking classes there and using state-of-the-art equipment. And now we're fully dedicated to your success. I mean, we offer different services. For example, each student at Western will be assigned an academic advisor in their field. That advisor will guide you from your first year to your last year at Western. You'll meet with them once or twice, or it's needed per semester to go over internship opportunities and class scheduling. We also offer a math and writing center. They're both free. And we also have an EPIC mentorship program. So an EPIC program is basically every incoming student, regardless if they're a transfer or first-time freshman, they'll be paired with an upperclassman student at Western. That student will guide them through their first year at Western, making sure they're doing well and have all the resources they need to be successful. Now, there's always something going on, not just off campus, but also on campus. We have over 50 clubs and organizations. Those are student-led clubs, and student government allocates over $350,000 in all the clubs at Western. So there's always something going on. You have your academic clubs running in conjunction with an academic program, like your psychology club, sociology club, pre-med club, and then you have your passion interest club, which is self-explanatory. Now, one thing I do gotta mention is make sure you can get involved with clubs and organizations of your interest once you do go to college. Regardless if you go to Western or somewhere else, get involved. Now, our tuition is going to be over $18,000 for an out-of-state student. 80%, that's definitely below the national average. 80% of the students receive some type of aid, and then 100% of them are considered for merit aid. Now, the merit scholarships are upon acceptance, and they're going up through weighted GPA. At least for fall 2021, since we're going to test optional and hopefully beyond that as well. But those scholarships range from $8,000 to $10,000 a year. That's a renewable scholarship that you'll be awarded all 4 years at Western. And, they definitely take a big chunk of our tuition. Other scholarship opportunities that we offer, you can definitely visit those at western.edu/scholarships. Lastly, how do you become a mountaineer? What's the application process look like? You can apply to the common application, or you can apply to our direct application. Regardless, we'll need your transcripts. Like I said, we're going to test optional, so we're not going to look at test scores for fall 2021, and hopefully we hope to continue that as well afterwards. But like I said, the only thing we'll need is your application and your transcripts. There is an application fee of $30. If you do decide to apply to a direct application, definitely reach out to us, reach out to the admissions office or to me, and I'm going to be more than happy to give you the promo code to waive the application fee. And yes, we're currently taking applications for the fall semester. If you're below our 50th percentile of students getting admitted to Western, definitely submit any material that will help support your application. Regardless if that's a personal essay, resume, cover letter, letters of recommendation, definitely submit anything that will help support your application. Like I said, we'll look at everything before we place the decision. And Currently, we are hosting visits. We're probably one of a few schools in Colorado that are hosting in-person visits. Those visits run Monday through Friday and Saturday upon request. You can register for one of those visits at western.edu/visit. You can also check out our virtual events that we have coming up this spring at western.edu/recruitments. And if you have any questions or if you want to learn more about Western, you can definitely reach out to the admissions office or you can reach out to me as well. But thank you so much for your time.
Awesome. Thank you so much to all of our panelists. And we are wrapping up the presentations, but now we're going to switch over into a quick Q&A session, just so we can hear from our counselors and know like what advice would they give throughout this process. So I'm going to start off with our counselor from the Sacred Heart University and ask them, what advice would you give someone going through this college search process?
Yeah, you know, that's an excellent question. And what I would say, the best thing is to ask questions, you know, especially in a year like we're going through now, being able to limited access to a lot of different campuses or, you know, lack of in-person college fairs, high school visits, you know, you're somewhat limited in the college process and how much you can receive in terms of information. And so I'd encourage you to really ask questions, you know, inquire with that particular counselor that is recruiting you from a particular school, or just reach out to the school in general and just ask those questions to get them answered. Best way to get all of your information. And like I said, especially in, you know, the times that we're going in now, it's super important to be able to have that.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Next up, we have our representative from Castleton University.
Yeah, so my biggest piece of advice, primarily for parents, but it works for students too, is take a deep breath, relax. There's a lot of information coming your way. This whole process can be very overwhelming. The best thing about tonight is the majority of representatives in this group are going to be the counselors directly working with you. And that's a huge, huge important thing to understand is communication is key throughout this process. Take a deep breath, relax when needed.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Next up is Champlain College.
Yeah, I love this question because there are so many different tips. But I think the one that I would give is definitely explore all your options, especially this year by having virtual opportunities. Check out big schools and small schools, check out different majors, see what is going to be the right fit for you. Because of course you want to make sure it has your major, but you also want to make sure it's the right location and fit. And one of my favorite virtual tips is if you're doing virtual tours, also use Google Maps and go down to Street View, and then you can walk around the city until you're able to visit again in person. Best tip I found this year for having a successful virtual tour.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't think about those virtual tips, but super important to keep in mind. Next up, we have Vermont Technical College.
Hey, so my advice would just to be, you know, keep your options open. I think there's probably a lot of pressure to like decide what you want to do, and you don't have to, like, if you major in something, you don't even have to do that for the rest of your life. Like I always like to bring up, like, I'm sure every single one of these panelists has a different academic background. I myself am actually a graduate of Champlain College. So yeah, you can definitely keep your options open and don't be afraid to, you know, change what you want, you know, never too late.
Awesome. Yeah. And then last but not least, Western Colorado University.
Perfect. My biggest tip of advice is look at scholarships. Look at local scholarships and then look at institutional scholarships. So when you apply to the school you're interested in, narrow your options down top 3, top 5, depending on how many schools you apply for, and then start looking for scholarships. I mean, it's not just what type of school you're looking for, but also how you're going to pay for that school. So focus on scholarships.
Great. Thank you everyone for your advice. And I know I spoiled it a bit by kind of like flashing the next question, but this one's also a really fun question to consider. And again, we'll go in the same order. So we'll start off with Sacred Heart University. And I'm just curious, what is your favorite event or tradition that happens on campus?
Yeah, so it's something that we actually started a few years ago. It was designed by our student government program. So it's called the Shoe Hunger Project. And essentially it's an entire campus-wide initiative to basically create different food care packages for, you know, people that are in need. And, you know, again, like I said, it's an entire campus-wide initiative. So it's not just all of our students, but all of our faculty and staff members get involved in it. And, you know, within a 6-hour span, we were able to, you know, box over 50,000 care packages, which was pretty awesome to see all the students and faculty coming together and utilizing that. And again, community services really important to us here. And so that was definitely a cool thing to see. And we're hoping to do it again, once we're able to get out of COVID.
Absolutely. What an incredible way to do a little bit of community building there. Next up, we have Castleton University.
So my reflection, it's a tough question. So favorite event, I'll broaden the horizon a little bit. I was a hockey guy, so attending the hockey games was a big thing. But tradition-wise, like I said, we're the 18th oldest university in the nation, and we've got a 230-year-old ritual where all of our students in the incoming class have a candle lighting ceremony that walk through the alumni gates. And same thing occurs the night before senior year graduation. So that's a special thing.
Super cool. Next up is Champlain College.
So being in Vermont, I know you've heard some of the other schools talk about it, but one of our biggest clubs on campus is Ski and Ride, unsurprisingly. So it's kind of a two-part answer, but our students are able to get discounted ski passes for local mountains. So I think a seasonal tradition is students going and exploring Vermont and the beauty and nature of it. But actually on our campus every single year, we actually have an event where our skiers and snowboarders come and do tricks on the quad. And we have a hot chocolate stand and prizes. And definitely brings our students out into some of those Vermont winters to have a little bit of fun right on campus.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. Next up, we have Vermont Technical College.
So something that's really awesome for us is our homecoming events, which are, it's pretty much over a whole weekend. We mix homecoming, parents weekend, and alumni weekend. So there's a whole bunch of people on campus, and current students can connect with alumni can connect with parents, that sort of thing. And we are the Vermont Tech Knights, so we like to serve a Knights feast at the homecoming, which is usually some kind of like big turkey leg. So you just see people munching on those throughout campus. And there's of course like fair games and stuff like that as well. It's a lot of fun.
Super fun. And then last but not least, Western Colorado University.
Gosh, mine is the same as Savannah. I love homecoming. It's just a really neat time on our campus. I mean, especially since we're a more institution, there's a lot of people, a lot of alums that come from all across the nation. And, we light our W on fire too. So, which is done by our mountain rescue team. And that's done in the middle of the night. And, you can see it from anywhere in town. And, there's a lot of different festivities going on around, throughout the week. And then the big football game that we have on Saturday. So it's just a really neat time. That's my favorite event on campus for sure.
Awesome. Yeah. A good fun time, just like spending it with people in a little homecoming setting is always good. So our last question for the panelists today, and I know it sounds a little similar to the last question, but I really want you guys to think about this. Give an interesting fact about your school. What is something that probably not many people in our audience know about? And then we can start again with Sacred Heart University.
Sure. So it might be more fun than interesting. I don't know. But kind of going back to the presentation, I touched on how we have a diner on campus. And we're one of actually 3 colleges in the entire country that have a diner on our main campus. And it's a New Jersey style diner because our president is from New Jersey. And so that's the way we dedicated it after. But I can assure you, New York students from New York, they definitely agree that it is a very good diner. So you don't have to worry about that.
Awesome. Yeah. And then next up is Castleton University.
Yeah, so something interesting / creepy. We house the first medical college in the United States, and that's right across the street from our missions building. It's got a very creepy history. They were shut down because they were stealing local bodies at a local cemetery on that front, working on them, storing the body parts in the walls, floorboards, all that creepy stuff, right? So we got a medical museum over that way. So really creepy, but yet interesting. Ghost Hunters, the show, if you're a big fan of that, they've actually featured that building in that show.
That is very creepy. I am getting shivers right now. But with that said, how about we hear from Champlain College? Sorry about that.
Yeah, well, not to follow on the historic theme, but what I was going to say is all of our first year students actually live in restored Victorian mansions their first year. So we are in Burlington's historic Hill District, as I said earlier. So we actually purchased these old homes and renovated them, but they still have that unique charm to them with like rounded corners, potentially a fireplace in your room. But at the same time, they are old homes. So some of our students like to say that they're haunted. Personally, I don't know if they are or not. Maybe it's a Vermont thing, Joe. I don't know. But definitely going with that historic vibe on campus too.
Awesome. Thank you, Hannah. Next up is going to be Vermont Technical College.
I guess I'll go with the tech side of it. We have had students that have launched satellites into space. If you ever look up the CubeSat program, we've worked with, our students have worked with NASA to launch one into space, and it was actually the first one from New England, I believe, was ours. So that was really cool. And we still have folks working for them, which is awesome.
Wow, that's so cool that a piece of Vermont Tech is up in space right now.
Yeah, and still active too. So that's actually really key because a lot of satellites get launched up there and then just kind of, but no, I'm still kicking.
Super, super cool. And then we're going to wrap this up with Western Colorado University. Does anything come to mind, Alejandro?
Yeah, so the first one, and it goes back with my previous answer. It's by the Mountain Rescue Team. I think it's probably the only mountain rescue team that's accredited in the nation, and that's how a lot of the students get to go on some missions. And I had a lot of friends. I've graduated from Western. I'm class of 2018, but I had a lot of friends who were part of mountain rescue team, and they got to go on this crazy expedition and go on this rescue mission. And yeah, I mean that's one of the fun facts that came to mind about Western, was just we're one of those our mountain rescue teams is accredited, and I think it's the only one in the nation too. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and it's always awesome to be unique in the sense that in the nature sense as well. But with that being said, folks, I know we can be here all evening and just talking about the amazing things that these schools have to offer, but I want to take a pause and just say thank you to our panelists for being here, for talking to us a little bit about what their different institutions are like and what make them special, and to our audience as well for taking the time to hear out what your different options are. And a couple of other closing thoughts is that I want to say that once you close this window, there's going to be a very quick link to a 4-question survey, and we would appreciate any feedback that you can provide. There's more sessions to be offered, so don't be shy and sign up for more sessions coming up. And then lastly, again, this session is going to be recorded and is going to be available within about a week at strivescan.com/CASDANY. And with that, thank you everyone and have a great evening.